Hello everyone and welcome to Stint 2 of the third round of the AequepaX Racing GT World Endurance Championship. Today here from Bathurst, Mount Panorama, Australia's premier racing track. Now every Australian will tell you this is the greatest racing track in the world. They are wrong. There is no way to crown the greatest racing track in the world. However, unquestionably, this is the greatest public road that we randomly close and say, yes, it's definitely a perfectly safe racing track and you should all come and race it. It is the most insane piece of public road that we pretend is a racetrack 4 times a year and tell you to go racing on it. The easiest way to summarize this incredible piece of tarmac with its 120 meters of elevation from top to bottom, already up in the mountains, an hour and a half west of Sydney. It's summarised by the sentence, in the fence. There is no other way to say it, no other way to describe it, but every single moment of every single part of this track is threatening to put you in the fence. Did you get your setup right? Did you find yourself in clean air? Do you have good tyres? Do you have low fuel? It doesn't matter, it's still going to try put you in the fence. Absolutely ridiculous track, 6.2 kilometres all the way around, including an enormous downhill back straight. Perfect slipstreaming opportunity. Get yourself in under the rear wing of your opponent and you'll launch out the other side before attacking the chase. Flat through the right-hander and then braking down the hill, which becomes up the hill into this actual chase. A corner they put in to make the last corner safer because it was far too fast on, well, as you can see, the last corner here, there is no runoff and there never has been. So, yeah, doing 300 kilometres an hour into that didn't seem like a good idea. Turn 1, known as Hell Corner. Simple one, this one. Go to the inside, grab the curb, it'll give you oversteer and spit you out into the fence. Run a bit wide, get in the grass, it'll then spit you out into the fence. So, don't make any mistakes there. You want to be right on the apex, but you don't want to hit the curb. You don't want to run too wide, you want to use all the exit curbing, but you don't want to run too wide, or you're in the fence. Turn 2, Griffin's Bend. You have to get right in on the apex. Again, if you hit the apex, you'll unsettle the car. If you touch the grass on the way, you'll unsettle the car and be in the fence. The road cambers aggressively, so you miss the camber. You'll understeer wide and be in the fence. Coming up to Turn 3, Turn 4, Griffin's Bend. Griffin's Bend? The cutting, sorry. Now, easy one to get wrong there. You can either run wide on the way in, miss the camber, be in the fence, or you can turn in, get the pattern early, oversteer and be in the fence. Coming up through here, a nice little left turn in. If you get it wrong, you're in the fence. Run a bit wide here, you're in the fence. Get too much curb, you're in the fence. Another really good one here. You can actually turn in too early for McPhillamy Park. Have to turn out of it, go wide, and end up in the fence. On the downhill, lock a rear brake, you're in the fence. Touch too much grass, you're in the fence. Carry too much speed here, you're in the fence. Get to the dipper, as you're just in the fence. You can touch that curb on the exit there, and you're in the fence. Another one, lock a brake here. You'll end up squirreling, running deep, going wide, in the fence. There are just so many potential ways to end up in the fence. You can even end up in the fence down here, but you have to be trying really hard. For the most part, it's just a casual run down the hill here. Be sensible, line your position up. When you try and go too wide through the chase, that's where you end up in the fence. More often, though, you end up in the gravel trap, one of the only places you might crash and not kill yourself here. With damage on heavy, that's going to be a huge problem. Another one out here, you can run wide and then find yourself in that fence as well, because the way it sticks out for that bridge, very challenging. Oh, jeez. Yeah, that threw Mike off as well. Last corner, very easy to go deep, run wide. Very easy to get on the throttle, just a little bit too hard, and the rear steps out. Both of those put you in the fence. So it's a very, very tough layout. Shane Van Gisbergen, lap record holder here with a 2-minute 1.562. Ian McLaren 650S. So the pace at 2 minutes and 2 minutes 0.2 set by Fred Dude in this practice session is incredibly fast for these machines. And there you go. That's what happens when you just don't get it turned in, run wide, and then hit the fence. Mike avoiding damage though. So he ran a bit too wide there, missed the camber, and then understeers and has to give up time, otherwise he just avoids the wall. There's a little bump there on the apex and it can cause wheel spins in some cars and then again put you in the fence. Oh, didn't get it turned till early enough and it grabbed the wall. So as you can see, it's very easy. Any of these corners, if you're half a car width wide, you turn in 2/10 too late, you will be on a very compromised line and you'll struggle to stay out of the wall. And that's where the art of this place kicks in. It's not just about being fast. It's about knowing when you've made a mistake before the mistake has consequences. So knowing that you've gone just a little bit deep through here, carrying a little bit too much speed to know to just back out of the throttle completely and keep yourself going as we reset for qualifying. Hello. Alrighty. Who is let out of the box first to begin qualifying? We have 12 minutes. Remembering that tyre wear and fuel are both still on, so you'll probably see people do 1 or 2 laps and maybe come back in for a fresh set of tyres and to go again. But there's a long track like Spa, so maybe we won't see people risking the pit stop to only get 1 clean lap. We saw Caliber ended up starting last at Spa as a function of not getting into the room in time. But he's here at the start, ready to go. And Caliber is in first. Oh, no. I thought he was the first one to leave for a second there. Alrighty, the first few are leaving. And apparently we can see the glitch in action where the AI tries to drive through the wall and crash into itself. So great work there. GT7, flawless game. And again, with the music randomly turning itself on despite being off a minute into the session. Gotta love this. Anyway. So, Sidemax Motorsport in the Saber Motorsport car. Sidemax Motorsport's Shadow, apologies for not actually naming it, driving for Saber Motorsport once again this week. And behind we have, Guesty in the Virtual Racing Club, VRC. I think that's the VRC Racing team as opposed to VRC Motorsport. Oh, jeez, the latency is making it look very spooky. Must have crossed the pit exit line, got the 3-second. Thingamajig. The fastest lap in the race was a 1:58.0. Wow, that's quick. Caliber will probably give it a crack, but boy, I don't know if we'll get that fast in qualifying. That might be a low fuel, high fresh tyre special, that one. That's a great lap time. THG Sonam for number 44, the Humble Racing guys. The aforementioned SBM Caliber 50. He's won both his stints. Oh, Sonam, you clever boy, tucking in on the back of Caliber? No? Interesting. Must be dealing with something. So Caliber in his Subaru WRX in the SBM by SOE car with his teammate SOE Kevin, and he overtakes Guesty there on the way in. The Starcilla Racing team with STS Nibbles. I don't know how to pronounce it properly because my brain speaks in English and it's stupid, but I love that car. It's a great livery. The second THG McLaren, this one driven by THG Mike 65, had a bit of a rough one last time out. He's a very good drive normally. Hopefully he jumps back. And oh, sorry, the motion looked weird and I realised he's not on a hot lap yet. It is the Trail Break Racing car, 888 by another Finnish driver with Jer Lee. But I'm just going to keep calling it the Trail Break Racing Club. Trail Break Racing Team car. Trail Break Racers Club, sorry. Anyway, Fred Dude for the AequepaX Racing team. I believe he's the AXR car. All runs wide there. But it'll just cost him a little bit of time. Not worried about track limits on that one. In the Toyota Supra, RS Binko, the Virtual Racing Club Motorsport car, as I believe. Good delivery, that one. AXR Joker. Okay, Joker in the Mazda RX Vision for AequepaX Racing's second car. TSO40 in the Supra, his teammate Noir Antares finishing third in the first stint, which would make it his third place in a row. He must be getting fed up with finishing third. I'm pretty sure THG are very happy with third, but at the same time, Noir will probably want more. SMM Shadow, who has pitted, I guess, from mediums and gone to softs. Not a chance. Not a chance. I shall not be calling him Jelly Wobbly in my belly. No thank you. I have got not enough syllables available to me. All right, let's focus up. Oh no! And the Starcilla Racing Team car backwards out of the dipper. And by the look of the front damage, he's been in the fence. So probably ran a little bit deep, had to run wide, found himself all crossed up, trying to save it. Oh, he's got himself front splitter damage. He'll have to come in and get the damage repaired and get himself a brand new set of tyres. But Caliber, off the bat, a 158.944, Guesty with a 201.0, Sonam with a 2-minute 00.907. Mike coming out of the final corner. What does he do? It's a 2-minute 1.799. Trail Break Racing, 2-minute 1.6. Fred Dude, it should be fast. It's a 2 minutes 0.9. He's right on top of Sonam. AXR Joker. Another good lap, a 2 minutes 8. That puts him second. And that's Nibbles coming in. What can TSO40 do? I think he'll struggle to put it down that low 2-minute lap time, and it's a 2:02.0, putting him 8th. And Binko's also got damage and brought it into the pits. That's not ideal. The way you'd love to do this, ideally, is get a nice banker out and then put down the aggressive lap in the second session, in the second part of the stint, with a fresh set of tyres. But unfortunately, oh, Shadow, did he leave? No, that was weird. Sorry, I just saw it flash up with SMM. Anyway, we'll follow Caliber using all of the road. The lack of top speed on this Subaru might hurt him, but it's got good acceleration. So it should get itself up the hill better than it gets down the hill. He's a 10th up on himself. It's nowhere near the 58.0 from the fastest lap in the first stint, but it's looking clean. Braking just on that 100 meter board. Turns in cleanly. Oh, lovely. Just kissing that apex. So it's a really tricky one at the chase. You don't want to hit the apex or you need to eat it, but he's coming in. He knows the man wants a better lap time. Ooh, ran a bit wide there. Might get done. You see Joker also on a PB. It's very tight between himself and Sonam, but a 1.9 seconds between first and second. Joker is 2/10 up. Oh, Sonam goes in front. Joker needs to finish that lap. It's a 2:06.79 as the target. Also avoids the curb, doesn't quite get it back to the right as efficiently, but stayed flat on the throttle. Will he come in or will he finish this lap? He's taking the gamble. He wants the lap time banked. As Fred Dude slots in ahead as well, but can Joker go with him? Yes, he can! He takes third place away from Sonam, and he's 0.05 behind his AEquepaX Racing Team teammate, with Fred Dude putting in a 2 minutes flat 0.446. Now, was that Sober? Sorry, Shadow. Okay, he's just going to the pits again. Araspinka on his outlap after that damage. And Nibbles also on an outlap, starting his fastest lap. TSO 40 did complete another lap, and he's at 2 minute 1.2. Now, can these guys all come in and get tyres? I don't think so. I think by the time he comes back around, they're done. So anyone who hasn't pitted, which is everyone except Caliber and those who've got damage, will not be able to have fresh tyres for another run. They will have to drew their best lap on these next few laps with worn tyres. Oh, geez, Caliber pushing. He's 1.5 seconds up, but he wants an extra lap here. He knows if he can get down there in the next 30 seconds, he will. Oh, he's looking at something else as he drives off the road. Let's have a look. Can Fred pull something off? But Caliber, I think, will go with him on board. Saving fuel because he wants the weight or something. But no, Caliber, smart man, just taking the load out of the tyres before starting his hot lap. He saw someone on the horizon, he backed off. That's clever. Very late into one. Oh, all the grip in the world. He's got that thing dialed in perfectly to his liking. On the power, super early, clean acceleration. Up the hill we go. Over the first crest and the timing beacon. He's up by a 10th already. 100-meter board. Beyond the 100-meter board. Throws it into turn 2 here. Doesn't quite hook in the way he wants, but it's okay. He doesn't run too wide. Uses the curb to stop him. Up into the cutting. The first one, flat, braking straight away. Getting it down, tucked in next to the wall. Not quite, but the exit is strong. Avoids the little bump there. It's okay. All running all the way out. Has he lifted? No, it's a little lift. Little lift over the top of the hill at Silverman Park. Down the hill here through Metal Grate. Got to get all the way to the right, to get all the way to the left, to make maximum speed, to get up into McPhilmy. Lift through McPhilmy. That's a very necessary lift to keep the front down. Just touches the curb. Perfectly placed. Down the hill now, through the S's. Oh, a bit of latency making it not look great, but he's down on the apex. He's down through the dipper. Avoid the dangerous little curb there. Down the hill once more into Forest Elbow. Really late on the brakes there. Gets it down. Doesn't quite get it onto the apex. But again, the clean exit. And that's what's making it work. It's not ideal, but it's still strong. Down the hill of Mount Panorama. Conrod Straight. The name that tells you what's about to break. As we go over the crest. Timing beacon. He's up 2 more tenths. Joker's got within 8. Joker's got the best second lap. Down into the chase. How late will he break? Probably 150 metres. Gets it turned in. Uses the curb, but too much or not enough, depending on your perspective. Doesn't really turn for him. Into the last corner. Griffin's Bend. Last turn, last opportunity. He will get one more lap if he finds that he has grip still. Ooh. Using a little bit of the exit curve, but it's okay. It's a 158.8. He's up 1 and a bit tenths. But unfortunately in the chase, just grabbed the curb. You either have to avoid the curb or take lots of it. A tiny bit of curb there disturbs the car and doesn't let it rotate. We'll go back and see Joker. He has a 159.8. That's a cracking lap on used tyres. It's a second off Caliber, but he has still got time to finish a lap. And you can see Sonam there with a 2 minute 0.2, puts him third for the THG car. Number 44 will be very happy about that. Fred with a 2 minute 4, 2 minute 5, and 2 minute 6. I don't think he can improve. But, yep, he's done. TSO 40 waiting down turn 1. He's done a 2 minute 0.8. Unfortunately, he's rolling away and needs to stop himself. And got himself into 5th. Guesty in the... I need to reset, as I remember, because of the way the exterior works. Guesty in the Virtual Racing Club gets himself 6 on the grid. That's a great effort. Mike for THG in 7th. The Trail Break Racers down in 8th. That's horrible news for them. They're normally very quick. Binko for Virtual VRC Motorsport, 9th. Stillsilla down in 10th. And SMM Shadow in... Oh, really? I have to do it after the race starts. Brilliant. Lovely game. All right. Oh, no! Trail Breaks ended off the road. How's that happened? Have I ended up doing that? He hasn't got damage though, so something's going on there. He's driven off the road at the last corner under the rolling start. Looks like no one able to get a run. As Caliber looks to pull away, and I think this top 4 will be very tight. Trying to suss who's where. Oh, looks like Jose in chat. It's his birthday. Happy birthday, Jose. I would give it to you in Spanish, but I realised you're Portuguese, and that would be offensive. Everyone's staying a sensible distance apart, but the overtaking normally doesn't happen over the top. If it's happening over the top, something bad has happened. So we'll see how the pressure holds. Oh, Sonam was a bit deep. Fred looked okay. Very tough, because you have to try and stay within touching distance down the hill with the dirty air, get it down through the elbow and onto the back straight, onto Conrod Straight, as close as you can. Now, who's got the straight line handling performance in order to get a job done? Let's say that no one's quite close enough to make a move in the front here. Stillsilla with damage. No. So, no damage for Trail Break, but damage for Stillsilla. They will have to either work out if it's worth staying out, or they'll pit at the end of lap 1. Of course, this is heavy damage once again. So, in the previous rounds, we've had light damage. The damage will fix itself after you cop some damage, lose a bit of performance, and it comes back. But with heavy damage, that front splitter is not going anywhere. And I reckon that damage is to do with the fact that the wind is coming across and pushing you down the hill. Pushing you across the top and down the hill, making it very challenging to get the car stopped. You've got less downforce, specifically a lot less rear downforce, making the car a little skittish, making it unstable. Only at the front, 1.6 seconds, but it looks like Fred catching Sonam is the most likely for an overtake, but there is nowhere to do it. So we'll have to wait and see if he can stay this close across the top, up over the hill. He's just using more road at the moment than Sonam. It feels like he's more confident in his placement. He's putting his car where he wants, and that's allowing him to brake just a little bit deeper, get a little bit further. But here's where the aero understeer kicks in. He's 5/10 behind, which means he is getting dirty air in the high-speed sections, but he's not losing too much ground. If anything, I feel like he gained on Sodam through there. But now the tricky downhill. Not like a brake. Oh, using a lot of throttle to stabilise the car there, Fred. So that's his technique. He's abusing both pedals with a left foot braking, and it's allowed him to stay close. He's within 4/10, within 3/10. Looking up the inside, not really. He just knows to get it down on the apex. Oh, is that an error from TSO40? Yes, it is, but it hasn't cost him any damage. We'll stay with Fred, because this is definitely an attempt. In the slipstream, we know how fast that Supra is. It's got no drag, and the faster it goes, the better it gets. And through goes Fred Dude for AXR, AequepaX Racing Team. And there is no bias that this is the AequepaX Racing Series, AequepaX Racing GT World Endurance Championship, and that's the AequepaX Racing car. It's just that Fred's a great driver. But Sodam's not done. He's fighting back, looks to the outside. Will he take a dive? No, he won't. Wasn't quite close enough. But Fred takes a compromised line. That gives Sodam a big run. They're right on top of each other up into turn 1, Hell's Corner. Will he make a dive, or will he wait for the straight? Or will he decide that this is not his fight? This is where he should be? Again, clean exits from Sonam. This is the reverse of what we were seeing before. We were seeing Fred getting the exits, getting the point car turned in. Fred's got himself into clean air and immediately lost where his grip balance is. So he had that car perfectly running, but it doesn't matter. Sonam, despite getting a really good exit, unable to catch Fred. So, yeah, the straight line on that Supra is very impressive. I thought Sonam would be right up in there into turn 2. but apparently not. Oh, big wobble there from Sonam. Caliber already with a 58.7. He surpassed his qualifying best lap. Didn't take long. Oh, geez, looked very close across the top there. TSO40 still ahead of Guesty. Mike still ahead of Binko. Shadow now. Oh no, he's got damage on the front left, which means he's probably run wide at turn 2. Will he stay out or will he get damage? Sorry, come in for this pit stop. Stocilla Racing Team still got that front split of damage, so he has decided that it's not worth coming in with the stint length. If you look at the fuel, you'd say he's going to do 12, 13, maybe 14 laps. Oh no, there's a yellow flag and it's TSO40. He's spun down the hill through the S's, but he's got going. He hasn't got any damage. Unfortunately, they're side by side with Shadow. Oh, that's a pretty messy rejoin, but at the same time, what are you supposed to do? Stay parallel across the track. Very awkward spot. Anyway, back to a calculation here. If he does, just grabs the wall, gets away with it by the look of things. Big moment, but GTWEC Racing will come back through. GTWEC and Stocilla need to get themselves back to the front of this field because their championship fights are well and truly alive for the top 5. So yes, the front split damage, if it's worth 2 seconds a lap, for example, over 12 laps, that's 24 seconds, which is very nearly the same as a pit stop. But at the same time, can you guarantee you can do 12 laps without having to come to the pits again for any sort of damage? So we'll have to keep an eye on that. As Fred looks to hunt down his teammate in Joker, he's pulling away from Sonam. Guesty for Virtual Racing Club is now up into 5th. And Binko is 6th. So once again, Virtual Racing Club is having a great start to this race. They had a bit of a rough first round. Their second round didn't end too well with the strategy not working out for them. But they've had good pace. We've seen Binko drive well. We've seen Guesty drive well. They've just been on the end of some very unfortunate incidents like lag-induced collisions. But for the most part, they have been very well paced. Mike has rear wing and rear right damage. So he's hit the wall with the back of the car. I don't think he's been rear-ended by anyone. Unless it was Stocilla. Don't touch the grass, Mike. Otherwise, you'll be in the fence, and especially with that rear wing damage, that will make it very tough. That car will become very unstable. Oh, and there he goes in the wall, as expected. Rear wing damage changed the aero balance, meant that he lost rear grip, tried to turn it in, locked the rear, and around he went, especially with that tailwind. That's Mike. With damage on basically every corner, and he needs to just chill out. He's got dirty tyres, get himself into the pits and refocus. This is not an easy track. As we covered, just about everything puts you in the fence. You're going to have to just be slow and sensible. And Thingamajig saying Binko is racing with a bad back and he may not make the 90 minutes, but he's going to give it a go. I feel like if he's in 6th place, his back is not going to be at all sore for him because he's having a great run. I originally read that as he's driving with bad luck. Oh no, Fred's made a mistake. He's lost 4 seconds and he's behind Sonam. It's all kicking off. Nobody is safe. Fred has been an absolute terminator of consistency in those previous races, so to see him fall off like that very early, interesting times. It's a very tough track, and I think the heavy damage is making those consequences feel very stressful for everyone. Only probably Caliber, you'd say, doesn't really care. He's just doing what he does. He will be out there in front until disaster strikes, if it does. But as you can see, it's getting darker. And it's not getting darker because the sun is setting. I see clouds. I see dark clouds. Now, what makes Bathurst even more challenging? And Joker's in the fence! Locked the rears on the downhill, and Sonam goes straight into him, but doesn't get damage. Okay, so he must have ghosted. I thought he hit him and got shuffled, and maybe the game decided it had half ghosted him. But Joker, looked like a spin. But Joker in the fence, damage, so locked the rears on the right-hand side. And that's because, have a look, he's got rear bias degradation, and that's what's done him in. He will probably have to pit with this much damage. Guesty, 1.2 seconds behind him in a car not notorious for straight line speed, is reeling him in down this straight. He's lost 3 tenths already. 4, 5, 6, 7 tenths. He's gonna have to come in because just on the back straight alone, he's lost the best part of a second to a Porsche, which is not a good straight line car. Surely Joker brings it in with that front left and aero damage. No, he's staying out. Wow, he thinks he can make back the damage difference. After, maybe he knows the strategy, I don't. I'm going to have to work it out as we go along to see how many laps we're doing and how long that'll be and how many pit stops we'll see. Last time at Spa, we had some great differences in strategy. 1 lap difference to the soft tyre runners, a couple of medium tyre runners. All of it sort of shuffling around and being flexible, meaning that we didn't know who was where on strategy. Well, Fred, once again, closing back in on Sonam. He's passed him once. He's going to have to pass him twice if he wants to beat him today. But this is now a fight for second. It's no longer the fight for third. Oh no, so that's okay. With Guesty for VRC up to 4th, but Joker 1 tenth behind him. Joker not giving it up. So he's actually stayed with... Oh, it's run wide. But he's kept it alive. So I think that was a combination of the bump there and the fact that he's got that aero damage just carting him wide. Joker's going to have to adjust to his downforce level. Okay, so it looks like everyone's just using softs in Stint 1 because it gives them the extra laps in qualifying instead of having to come in and go to mediums. Oh, big slide there from Joker. That rear bias degradation really hurting him as he now falls back towards RS Binko in the Supra. Binko 1.9 down, 2.2 down, he's in the wall! Gets away with it. 2 seconds down at the start of this straight. I was going to sort of follow him and see how much time he gained, but with an exit via the fence, very easy to not gain time there. He's not pulled in nearly as much time as I was expecting, but it's still in the order of 5 tenths, 6 tenths even by the end of the straight, 7 tenths, 8 tenths. And does Binko stay on the road with that? No, not quite. So ran a bit wide there, and Sonam's in. He's got damage. So, either has made a collision with Fred or he's hit the wall on the exit of the Forest Elbow by the look of things. Fred was ahead, so Sonam's got damage and come in, but it's 12 minutes in, he's done 6 laps. Is that enough strategy time for him to come out with a damage-free car and be worthwhile? I don't know, we'll have to find out. Does tyres? How much fuel goes in? It's looking like a lot of fuel. Now fixing the damage. Oh, too much fuel. Fuel tank, okay. Oh, and he's been given the 3-second penalty. There wasn't anything he could have done. So apparently if you go out on mediums, the AI drives you over the pit exit line, there's nothing you can do about it. Oh, that's very rude. He's done nothing wrong and he's been pinged. It's going to and it's really going to cost him. He should have clean air ahead of him, but instead he's got the Trailbreak Racing Team car and the Sidemax Motorsport car, or Sober Motorsport car. Sober Motorsport powered by Sidemax Motorsport. Right behind him, he's going to lose position to both of them on the back straight because I believe the penalty zone is on Conrad. Just have a quick look through. Thingamajig saying nobody use mediums. Nobody use mediums to find out that they're getting bullied. So, THG with a different strategy here. They worked very well in the first stint. Oh no! That's Joker! Joker's backwards! Oh no! He's spun a long way down the hill. Was anyone involved? That's crazy. That would have been out of the dipper. He's come around and clipped the curb on the inside on the right-hand side. It's an innocuous little curb. You don't think about it. But what it does is it destabilizes and you have a big tank slapper. And now Joker's got damage at both ends. Only capable of 240k an hour. And Sonam, who pitted in the previous lap, was catching him, but of course he gets that 3-second penalty, which means he is no longer catching him. Joker surely in this time by. He's now 5 seconds behind TSO40, who's up into 5th. So, the Virtual Racing Club, take a bow. Stay safe. Keep it clean. Guesty for the Virtual Racing Club racing team. is in third position. Third position here, 15 minutes into stint 2 of this 90-minute stint. RS Binko with his bad back is fourth. The man is chugging along. There is no complaint in his mind. P4, I'm not sore at all. So it was just lag that made it look like he's in the fence. He's driving perfectly clean. But it looks like the sun has completely set here at Bathurst. It's suddenly dark. A moment ago, we were in light. Now we are in the dark. Just like that, everything can change. Trailback Racing, they were last out of turn 1. They've fallen off the road before the start line. They're up to 6th. That's the power of just keeping it clean here at Bathurst. Keeping the car pointing the right direction, keeping it out of the fence. It sounds very easy, but have a look. Everyone has been in the wall somewhere. Caliber, Guesty, Binko, and Trailback Racing are the only ones that I know haven't made a mistake yet. Now, the Sub Motorsport car is doing a great job to keep up with this damage, so I expect them to become very quick as the race goes on. Those lovely blue exterior lights making that car stand out compared to its rivals, and we see Caliber is in after 16-ish minutes. He's actually too fast for the 16-minute timer, so 16s. Well, what's the plan with that? Is this a 5 stop? 50, 30? No, he's one short. He'd have to do a 6th. But Fred is also in. So, I suspect everyone will just do a short stint at the end because they need to lose a couple laps. And Caliber keeps it out of the wall there. Guesty, if he gets by him, he gets by him, he's in the lead! The Porsche of the Virtual Racing Club leads the Bathurst! Bathurst 3 hours in stint 2 here of the AquepaX Racing GT World Endurance Championship. Virtual Race, oh no, he's touched the curb! Big oversteer on the worn tyres, keeps it alive. It's now side by side with Caliber. Caliber will try to go around the outside, which is a risky thing to do, but I think backs out with a bit of lag there. Caliber, it's hurting his race time, but there's no one anywhere near him, and it does not matter for his race at this point. But Guesty now holding up the two-time champion here. But he's doing a great job across the top, the tricky part, not making mistakes. But importantly, he and Binko have gone a lap longer than the guys at the front. That may give them an advantage on strategy by cutting a pit stop out later in the race. Caliber may be deciding to wait until fuel to come off to try and save those laps because maybe he doesn't need them. I'm not sure. Caliber, punts him! Decides not to go through. Caliber trying to make a dive there, and I don't know why he was bothering when he's got the big long straight to do it on. He's got no damage, and he's got way better tyres. So he could have just sat there, taken the slipstream and passed, but now he has to do something different. Because the Porsche is not quick in a straight line. Could have probably taken him rather easily. As we see Guesty breaking down into the chase. Now, will Guesty go for another lap or will he stay put? Into the pits? Yeah, looks like he's in the pits. Here we come. All right, so 9 laps for Guesty. Oh, but he's gone deep. He's gone too deep and gone into the gravel. That's no good. Oh, that's so disappointing. Will he get away with it? Well, he's in the pits, so apparently he hasn't been warped. So I guess that is successful. TSO40 taking a much more conventional approach into the pits. As we see Fred Dude come by. So 18-minute stints. That's more like a 5. Yes, so 18 minutes will get you bang on the money to the end of the race on 5 stints. However, I suspect the boys at the front will be waiting on the pit stops and the amount of time lost to take them to cut them over the time limit in order to do a 1 lap shorter stint at the first one and then continuing to do 9 lap stints for the rest of the race. You'll probably end up seeing Guesty, TSO40. Oh, and TSO40 gets the penalty. That's unfortunate for him. So does Guesty. And Sonam's ended up ahead of Guesty and TSO40. Binko with 6 seconds. That's really unfortunate for him. Oh dear, that's very rough. Stasila have pitted on lap 4, and now running in 8th place. Probably just being a bit conservative now, trying to get themselves back together. Oh no, and Joker's got more damage. He qualified 2nd. He was running so strongly. Oh, this is so disappointed for the AequepaX Racing boys. He had such a good race ready to happen. And unfortunately, it's not going well for him. But he's still 13 seconds ahead of Shadow, who pitted on that lap, sticking to his strategy regardless of the damage. And Mike, who pitted a few laps ago for damage, is now a lap down. Stuck now down behind SBM Caliber, and that's a legitimate lap down because Caliber just pitted. So not the best race there for THG, but he's in relatively clean air, and the guy in front of him is going to pull away from him. So he's just got to stay focused as darkness really descends now. We are entirely reliant on the headlights to see anything. But what we can see through the dark is that SBM Caliber, the team SBM with SOE, apologies, is leading by 15 seconds back to Fred Dude for the AEquepaX Racing team. His best lap, 1:59.7, is a second off the leader, SBM Caliber's 58.7. Trailbreak Racing, well, that's an interesting strategy. They're going 10 laps at this moment in time. This is his 11th lap on the stint. So he's making fantastic mileage. Look how good those tyres are. Wow, that's really impressive. His fuel burn is also incredibly low. So, Trailbreak Racing, very much not out of this race. If he can do 11 laps compared to 8 laps at the front, that's going to bring them massively back into this race. He's got a 2:01.8 as a best lap, but that does not matter when you're taking less pit stops to this kind of extent. They've brought themselves right back into this race. Sonam in 4th, probably very confused. That's a position he has to take and move on with. Well. And he's not losing too much time either to himself. He's only lost 0.6, and there's a lot of high-speed, high-grip sections there. Oh, Sonam with a big wiggle. He needs to be sensible. He has to remember he is on mediums. And he can't afford to make another mistake. He's got to get it in nice and tight. Get on the slipstream, make the pass, make it clean, and then continue on with his run with whatever his plan is. But just to make sure he doesn't get held up, but at the same time, he can't get damaged. He can't make any silly mistakes. Now, surely Trailbreak are in this lap. If they're not in this lap and they go for a 12th lap, they will break this race wide open on strategy. They'll be taking 50% less stops than everyone else. But I don't know if they've got the tyre wear to do it, as Sonam gets right in on the back. So those very, very worn soft tyres are not holding as much grip as those relatively new mediums. He's staying out. No way! That's incredible. I'm pretty sure 22.5 minutes is the dividing point, though. In the back of my head, my brain thinks that's correct. Because it gets you to 44.5 minutes, which gets you to 89 minutes. No, not quite. So it's... No, hang on. No, it gets you to 45. Yeah, 22.5 minutes is the cutoff point. So he needed to pit on that lap to set up the perfect strategy of doing a quarter race distance, meaning he'll only take 3 pit stops. Sonam's got to get by him here. Pulls out, has to outbrake, and he does. Clean up the inside. That's good. It's safe. It's sensible. Now he's just got to pull away and get on with it because his opponent will only take 3 pit stops. And Sonam, with that early pit stop for damage, will do many, many more. Trailbreak Racing with a brilliant strategy to put themselves right back in this race. However, this lap here is risky. So a quick look through, there's no fights. It's a very risky lap. He's got very poor rear tyre quality. And you can see just tickling the throttle, trying not to oversteer the car, trying not to unsettle it. He's got far more grip. The real danger is going to be turning right. He's got half a front left tyre and he's got no rears. Down the hill, very gentle on the brake, very sensible and smooth, trying not to cause any oversteer, like we saw happen to Joker. Gets on the throttle, very, very conservative and sensible. He's looking how little tyres he's got. However, after that update between Trail Mountain and now, when your tyres are this low, they no longer become entirely undrivable. We saw guys basically having punctures what can only be described as on the last lap of Trial Mountain and running out of tyre completely. But here, with a sliver of tyre left, Trailbreak Racing able to keep things moving. He's lost 4 seconds on this lap to Sonam, but it will come back to him in the pit stops. But I think he didn't need to do this lap. I think this lap is going to end up costing him more than it should have, but it opens him up on strategy at the back end of the race, and in he comes. Does he get it stopped in time? Yes, just. Well done. Well done. Great effort. As we go back on board with Guesty for the Virtual Racing Club. And he sets... No, it's not his PB. I was really expecting that to be his PB. And he sets himself a 2-minute 1.4. Oh, it's 2. He's got 2:01.0 at the bottom there. And he is 4th for the Virtual Racing Club community. Virtual Racing community? I'm not sure anymore. I've just second-guessed myself. But VRC, they'll be very happy with that. RS Binko, oh no, he's got some damage. And he's down in 7th. But I'm pretty sure Stasilla hasn't given us a pit stop. And they have not, whereas TSO40 has. Well, given us a pit stop recently, I should say, because that Alpha is very good on fuel and tyres, but he pitted on lap 4. So Binko, and when corrected for strategy, should be ahead, but he's losing time with damage. Not sure when he's done it. I'm going to guess it was on the previous lap. So unfortunate for him, but there is a long way to go, and it's not looking too bad for him. And Joker, who's got more damage, he is down in 8th, and he's now just in front of the Trailbreak Racing team. So they will be nose to tail in the 2 RX Vision GT, the Mazdas. Nothing really coming out of the chat at this moment. Oh no, there's a yellow flag, which means someone has gone around. And I think it was TSO40. Yeah, I think it was. He's got no damage, but he's looking a bit befuddled on his racing line there. Joker still ahead of the Trailbreak Racing team. Binko now right on the back of TSO40. I think it was TSO40. Binko stuck 6/10 back, but with the damage he's going to lose ground even though he's in slipstream, which is very unfortunate. Yeah, and TSO40 lost 15 seconds. He spun again in the downhill S's. Again, avoiding damage. He's going to have to be careful because that's going to throw away his opportunity to get a good result here. With those kinds of mistakes, he's lost probably a pit stop worth of time now, spinning there twice. And he's 6th place right now, but you can't keep doing that if you want to finish well. His teammate, Noiran Torres, was 3rd in Stint 1, while the Stasilla Racing team, Jose calling him Italian, because TSO40 is a big Ferrari lover and also a Toyota lover, as you can tell by his name. But Stasilla, they are 5th right now, but his teammate Frequency was 4th in Stint 1, so we're seeing very consistent results from that car. Oh, Guesty just touching the grass there by the look of things as he turned in, unstabilising the car. But he's done well, doing another 2:01.1, so nice and consistent. This is probably the best result we've seen from the VRC boys. Hopefully he can keep it together, no mistakes, nice and sensible. Oh, that's nice, that's consistent, I like it, it's smooth, it doesn't have me jumping out of my seat in concern. So now 20 seconds behind Fred, who's 18 seconds behind Caliber. Nobody can stop Caliber, only Caliber could stop Caliber at this point, as he does a 2:00.00. He'll be very disappointed, finally dropping into the 2 minutes like the peasants behind him. Bloody hell, he's good. Yes, so Guesty is driving with his teammate did not make the first stint, so all their points coming out of this stint. They're disappointed. Sonam's teammate also did not show up, so 3rd and 4th are making do with their teammates not making the stint, and apparently we're missing FTR, so FTR missing stint 2. So we've got a lot of people missing individual stints, but overall we're still getting good content and good racing. Fred's teammate was... I'm blind apparently. Oh, AequepaX, sorry. Yes, so Fred's teammate Splash so that's AXR Splash now, isn't it? Was second place in Stint 1. So the Supra going second and second. AXR ran 1-2 in the first stint, so they'll be very happy about that. So the AequepaX racing teams doing well in the AequepaX GT World Endurance Championship. And I promise you there is no bias for such a thing. So Sodam's medium stint, he's doing 201s on those tyres, that's pretty good. But his fuel burn is about similar to Guesty behind him, so he's put himself basically back on strategy with the guys behind him after having to pit for damage. It's taken him a while to get down to the 201s. He was doing 203s and 202s, so I don't think this is a planned medium stint. I think he would rather be on softs, and he's had to adjust and work out how to drive to the mediums. Of course, when you change the tyre compound, your brake bias has to change as well, because it changes the way the car loads up the tyres. So you've got to think about those things. They're all the little 1%ers that make the difference at the end of the race. Because you don't lock rears or lock fronts, and suddenly the car rotates weirdly under brakes. And that's probably the things he's had to adjust and get used to. Caliber will be in this lap, I think. So he's doing 8 lap stints, which I think leaves him with an extra pit stop compared to the people doing 9. But with a 20-second gap, I don't think it particularly matters. His teammate Kevin was 8th in the first stint, so not a great stint from Kevin. He's a pretty quick driver. I think he was top 5 last week. But unfortunately not as strong today. But with his teammate leading, these guys I think are leading the championship last time I checked. And they will be very happy to see another win from the juggernaut that is SBM Caliber. Yep, as the championship standings showed at the end of last round, they led FTR by 4 points. And FTR, on the back of finishing behind SBM, will not have overtaken them. And with FTR Full Throttle Racing in their lovely Ford GT not appearing in this second stint, they are guaranteed to have lost ground here to the SBM by SOE. So the SBM SOE car. I want to keep saying by SOE. I don't think it's by SOE, but anyway. It's featuring SOE. I apologise to the SBM team for incorrectly labelling their team. Let's see if we can find some contests. And we found one. Joker versus VRC. I should have... sorry, Trailbreak Racing, not VRC. Trailbreak Racing. I should have been watching this from the start. I'm very sorry, as I believe Joker has been passed by the Trailbreak Racing car. Oh, looked like a little bit of contact, but it won't be. As Joker has damage and his old tyres, so he's been passed and he's now just attacking the back of the Trailbreak Racing car, keeping him under pressure so he doesn't get away. At the front, Caliber and Fred pit again at the end of the 16th lap. So they are entirely on a schedule. And they are quite happy with that schedule, but I think they are a lap short in their calculations, as they will end up pitting with 10 minutes to go, I think, if that was 32 when they just came in. So they'll pit on 64 and again at 80 minutes with 10 minutes to go, so it'll be a short final stint for them. They can actually start doing 7s probably from here to the end of the race, 14-minute stints just to equalise it. But we'll see if they plan to do what we saw last week and throw a set of mediums on to buy the extra laps they don't have in the middle of the race or at the end of the race, just to cut the pit stop out. But we'll have to wait and see. As Joker now pits from 8th place, but he's a very quick car. He qualified 2nd. And he's just had a bit of bad luck and a bit of damage. And even with the damage, he was keeping up with the Trailbreak Racing team. So expect those two to resume hostilities when Trailbreak end up pitting. But because they're going to go so incredibly long in their stint, I don't know if we will see them again for a while. As he's now catching Binko with that damage. He's got front splitter and front right damage, as well as back damage, I've been told by Thingamajig, who was the commentator in Stint 1, as I recall. Oh, excuse me. I need breakfast. Oh, jeez, that lag was terrifying. I thought he'd gone ploughing into the wall. Oh, Mike in the pits. I'd say that's a retired car. He's done a 2-minute 30 and a 3-minute lap. And he's been here for 4.5 minutes. So something's not right there. Either driver error, a driver failure, or they are maybe potentially retiring that car. So it could also just be in the bathroom. We don't know. But THG Mike for the Humble Guys looking pretty terminal at this moment in time as we see a fight. Guesty for the Virtual Racing Club being attacked now by Fred Dude, who is fresh out of the pits on brand new soft tyres for AXR AequepaX Racing. Will these two come together and fight over the top, or will Fred be able to arrive at the perfect moment to attack down Conrod Straight in the darkness? Now, we heard in the chat Sodam being called the Night Specialist. Sorry, the Night King, I apologise, was the phrase used, but he's got damage on those mediums, so his 201s have become 202s, and it looks like he's falling back towards Guesty. Ah, yeah, okay, Binko lives in a field, and his internet is not great, but he's still out there, and he still hasn't been dropped from a room, so he's hanging in there, and that's all that matters. As an Australian, I understand what it's like to have an internet that feels like I'm in a field. Anyway, Fred gets to the back of Guesty. He has to tuck in. Didn't get a great exit, but he'll have to rely on slipstream, rely on the fact the Porsche isn't that quick, rely on the very low drag Toyota Supra with its incredible BMW engine that everyone loves to argue about. Gets up there, right up alongside as they turn in for the chase. Guesty sees him coming, leaves him room. They break at about the same point. Oh, the camera cuts away. Looked like Fred left him space, and he gets around the outside there in the chase. Good bit of driving. Fred now covers the inside, but Guesty will be in the pits, this time by better attempt at making it into pit lane. And he pits up to 18 laps, which I think is the perfect strategy for cutting a pit stop out of the race for them, because he's just completed 37 minutes. He'll come again at 74, and we'll be able to do a shorter stint at the end of the race. As we see TSO40 in, he set his best lap of a 2-minute 0.8 on the previous lap, and we'll see Binko also in this lap. He will also repair his damage. So the strategy starting to play out. Trailbreak will move up into 4th with their incredible ultra long strategy. And he sets off after Guesty, who is out of the pits. So that's a legitimate position. Guesty legitimately 4th here today. Potentially able to go further and catch up on Sonam as well when he comes out. He sort of will be getting undercut. And he is losing time. He's got damage. He's on mediums. Fred is going to catch him hand over fist. Will Fred get him down into the chase? I don't know, but Sonam squirreling around, trying his best to try and stay alive. As we see Stosilla up into 7th, and TSO40 coming out in 6th there. Fred now 7/10 behind him. He'll get him 100%. If Fred doesn't get him, I'll eat my hat. I'm not wearing a hat, so I'll have to go and find one. But we can see Fred hawking him down in the straight. Easily gaining time as Sonam is damaged, plus the slipstream, plus the incredible top speed of the Supra. And he's by before we even turn into the kink before the chase. Easily done. That's going to help Fred nicely. No interruptions, no time lost, only a nice big slipstream down the hill. Granted, he's 27 seconds behind Caliber, but it just simplifies his race to the guys behind. Not getting caught up in fights, not making mistakes getting to the wall. Sonam into the pits with no fuel left at all. I love it. That's precision from the Humble Guys racing team driver. Where he comes out relative to Guesty, I don't know. I reckon Guesty gets him with the damage to be repaired, and likely Sonam will get pinged with a penalty on the exit because his driver, AI driver, puts him in the fence for no reason. We'll have to wait and see who comes out ahead. If it's Guesty for Virtual Racing Club, will he be third on the road, third overall? He's officially ahead on timing and scoring. Where does Sonam? Where's Sonam? Sonam is behind. And he doesn't get the penalty. So the gap is 3 seconds. Guesty with an undercut. And it looks like Sonam's going to keep doing medium stints to the end of this race. He's brought another set of mediums and another full tank. That's his strategy officially locked in now. I thought he was just going to put himself back on the strategy as everyone else and then go mediums. But go softs again. But it looks like he's committing to mediums. That's his tyre. That's his choice and he's happy with it. As we can see, Stosilla 2 seconds ahead of Joker. We know Joker is very quick, and it looks like Joker's got newer tyres, even though he's got more fuel, but we know the Alpha is very good on fuel, so likely all part of the strategy. And Binko now down to 9th after that pit stop. It looks bad, but he's in the best strategy position out of the blokes in front of him, so out of the drivers in front of him. Very Australian of me to throw out the word bloke. Bloody hell. GSO 40, not really in anywhere. So we'll follow Joker in his pursuit of the Stosilla Racing Team, STS Nibbles. Nibelheim? Anyone? No? Anyway. Oh, that looked like the wall. But no damage for the Stosilla Racing Team. AXR Joker making ground. He's already made up 9/10 so far, up the hill and across the top. That gap is coming down. Will he get to the slipstream range this lap? Will he be able to make a pass? Will he have to wait? Will he fight? Will he make another mistake coming out of here? So as the temperature, as the night continues, the temperature drops and the grip changes. Some people find there's more grip. Others find there's less grip. And as far as I can tell, it looks like it's less grip all around as everyone's getting very skatey. He's in the slipstream. We'll go on board for this one. He's just not gaining enough. He's doing 270k an hour, 280! 290 kilometers an hour down into the chase as Stosilla blocks, but he goes a little deep. Joker gets the cutback, gets the run, gaining, goes to the outside. He had no other choice. He's going to have to try and go round the outside at the final corner, at Murray's corner. Oh, and he does it. That's sensational. Stosilla Racing Team braking and unable to hold him off around the outside at Murray's corner. Well done, AXR Joker. That's some great driving. Got him with just precision, good exits. Good defence from Stosilla to take the inside at the chase and cover, but unfortunately just not enough grip for him to stay ahead. Oh, I sort of can move the camera. Oh well. Wait, did that just rotate in? No, sort of. Anyway. Everyone loves this camera, right? Anyway, back to the exterior shots. And Mike has resumed, so a 10-minute stop there, so I'm guessing that was for some driver repairs, and has continued, so good on him for getting back out in the race. All he can do now is just set fast lap times and stay out of the leader's way, but I think he's going to just try his best to do a good job. Sidemax Motorsport, Silver Motorsport, in 10th place here, a minute behind RS Binko. Having a quiet one, coming into the pits kind of frequently, so I guess he's had damage somewhere. So it's a new PB of a 2.3. I need more sleep because I'm looking at a dark Bathurst and I'm thinking of going back to bed. It's just the Australian way. Oh jeez, need to wake up and focus in here as Bingo now trying to catch the Stosilla car. He lost time in that last lap fighting. Bingo fresh out of the pits, might catch him in the next couple of laps. Joker pulling away, not really anyone else to talk about. Fred and Caliber have locked in at about 30 seconds. Guesty for VRC holding off Sonam, who is now running mediums for 4th place. Trailboat Racing, they've got a bit of damage actually, so that'll cost them time. They probably could have got themselves back into 4th with their incredibly long strategy. He's about to do his 22nd lap and he's pitted once. So doing a great job there. TSO 40 with his personal best at 2 minutes 00.3. The track is ramping up. The temperature's come down, but the grip is going up. Oh no, Mike's disconnected after resuming his stint. He's disconnected from last place. That's very unfortunate. I'm not sure how the rules handle that, if that's 0 points or if you get points for last place. We'll have to wait and see. As now Groot is suddenly registering as on track because the game didn't know what to do. At this rate, I'll end up on track. Binko losing ground on this lap. He's down to 4 seconds behind. He's got no damage, so not sure what's going on there. Ooh, excuse me. I feel like TrailWreck Racing the most likely to make a mistake, but he's done so many laps without making any mistakes, so hard to suggest that he will. But he's got damage, and he's got the most worn tyres, so he is the most under pressure to keep things together, as everyone else has sort of got a comfy gap around them, whereas Trailbreak are making a very interesting strategy decision to try and make something happen, and it's allowing them to drive very strongly here through these middle stints by cutting 2 pit stops out over the leaders. That's a good minute of race time back in their pocket. Of course, they'll lose time having to look after the tyres, having to deal with the worn tyres for longer, but they've got such great degradation rates that it's actually looking really good. So at Spa, the McLaren had the best tyre wear, allowing it to do an extra lap there. And here, this Mazda RX Vision GT has been set up to just nurse those tyres. It's like we've got Sergio Perez in the car. Just no concept of tyre wear whatsoever. You change tyres because you have to. Sorry, you change tyres because you need to. I change tyres because the rules tell me I have to. That's what's going on here. It's a fantastic job from Trailbreak Racing. So TSO40, after setting his personal best at 2:01.2, that lovely, lovely magic grip is gone. And his best lap now is 2.5 seconds off the pace of SPM Caliber, the absolute machine out front in the Subaru WRX. Once again, he is blistering the field and seems unstoppable. We're now 47 minutes in. We are halfway through the stint. Remember, this is the Bathurst 3 hours of the AEquepaX Racing GT World Endurance Championship. This is stint 2 of 2 of that race, meaning 3 hours split into 90-minute stints for a 3-hour race. The championship is decided by the results of each race independently. Points are paid for the race results. Points are paid for pole. Points are paid for fastest lap. And it looks like SPM Caliber is trying to take a sweep. He got pole, he has fastest lap, and he is currently leading. And we can see TSO40 is actually catching the Trailbreak Racing car. We'll just check in. Looks like Binko was unable to make any more ground on the Stacilla Racing team, as he does a 2-minute 0.98, which is his personal best. So Fighting Joker disrupted his lap time, but he's got back into his rhythm. And we always talk about being in the rhythm, getting your groove in. At Bathurst at night, that rhythm is so important because it just makes. So you saw TSO40 there was on par across the top of the hill, but he's lost 0.6 in the downhill. That rhythm is worth so much time when you're just flowing the car gently, not really trying, not having to fight the car, not muscling the car, and just letting the lap time come to you. Normally that's just sort of how racing goes, but at Bathurst here in the dark, you just don't have the references to really hustle the car. You have to be very sensible and gentle with the car here. You have to just know what's coming before you can see it. And that's where that flow and rhythm is really important, and it can make you a lot of lap time. As we saw an Italian guest appear and then disappear. So we're getting attention from all over the world here for the AEquepaX Racing GT World Endurance Championship. Round 3 of 6 from Mount Panorama Bathurst. And TSO40's got the gap down to 2 seconds. Caliber in at the end of lap 24 on schedule, and Fred joins him just as Caliber leaves. Very rude of him. Could have hung around and waited and said hi to Fred. Fred very lonely and feeling a bit dejected after that one. Oh, and he's locked the rears and stuck it in the wall on the right-hand side. No one around him. Needs to do a very quick flick turn here. He had it down to 1.8 seconds. And he's just decided to wait. He saw the mini-map with Joker coming. Bangs into the wall. And away he goes. Just in front of the Stocilla Racing team, who sees him, tries to avoid him, goes into the fence, but doesn't get damage. So TSO40 finding a new way to spin on the downhill, locking the rears. They're not even that worn. I don't know how he's done it. That's impressive. So they've both got damage now. The Virtual Racing Club car, which he was catching and was about to pass. Oh, Joker's gone off! Joker's gone off at the chase! Where at the chase? He's ended up on the left-hand side somehow. I have no idea what happened there. That's incredible. And we see TSO40 continuing with damage. He knows he has to go a little bit longer to make his strategy work. So he's going to have to do a couple of laps with damage here to try and save his day. As everyone else came into the pits. Stocilla Racing Team in the pits. AXR in the pits. Most of them repairing damage. And Trailbreak Racing in the pits as well. So Trailbreak Racing choosing... So Stocilla choosing not to repair the front splitter. So that's probably a glitch. That has to be a glitch. Why would you not repair the splitter while you were in the pits? Thingamajig suggesting cold track and the wind is picked up. Well, the wind's at 2.1 from 2. So it's a... What's that? 5% change, so not really. It's literally the smallest change it can make, but it has changed direction. It was coming in straight from the west, across the top of the hill there. Now it's pointing west-northwest, which means that it's just changed around and it's making things a little bit different. So that's one of the things you have to worry about when doing these long stints, is the wind direction changing, making things look a little bit weird. Where's the roof cam? I realize I'm on bumper there, not roof. Get a bird's eye view of how aggressive this track is. The elevation is not done justice by TV or video games. Walking up and down the bottom, this part of the hill here is unreal. You genuinely need a handrail. It is so incredibly steep. And that's what happens when you drop 120 meters in less than 3 kilometers. So it's a 6 kilometer lap and you have to go up and down in 3 kilometers. Up one way, down the other. And it does it in a massive hurry. Ooh, TSO40 fighting with Binko. Oh, Binko's gone off, so I think they've gone side by side through the chase, and Binko's ended up spinning. I'm not sure if he's particularly unhappy with that one, or if that was just a mistake from him. We'll have to wait for the steward's appeals to find out. We'll go back on board here with Sonam just quickly. He's doing 2-minute 00s on those mediums, while Guesty in front doing 201s, but he's also done 200. So those two are basically in lockstep. And they will pit at similar times. Oh, I saw yellow flags. Who's around? It was Shadow. SMM Shadow. Sidemax Motorsport. Sub Motorsport. Having a mistake there down the S's. But he's got damage at both corners, but didn't interrupt anyone, unfortunately. He's currently running last. 47 seconds behind Joker. He's going to have to pit for damage and repairs soon. Very unfortunate. But now the damage is on high. We've seen a big attrition rate. Very few drivers have avoided damage as Joker is getting the blue flags. Or is it? Oh, no, sorry. It's the Stocilla Racing Team car getting blue flags as the race leader, SBM Caliber, arrives behind him. So 8th place getting lapped here, and that's a legitimate lap too, because Caliber is fresh out of the pits. He's done another 58.7 in recent times and a 58.9 on the previous lap. The machine continues. It shouldn't be SBM Caliber, it should be SBM Caliber T800. He is the Terminator. Oh, Stocilla getting out of the way. Lovely work there. Not really disadvantaging anyone, and in return he gets a nice big slipstream down the hill to pull him along. Oh, except he's too far back to get a slipstream, so he hasn't quite done it perfectly. And yeah, Binko has lost ground to GSO40 after that off in the chase. Still not sure. We're not going to know as to what happened. Oh, that was an interesting little drop there. Oh, okay, it's just into that. Okay, it's fine. Yeah, damage still for TSO40. I don't know when he's going to pit. I think he's got to do 3 more laps or something. No, he's only got fuel for 1, maybe 2. So his strategy was to pit on lap 18. So he's doing 9. So he's pitting at the end of this lap. And that'll be his strategy to put him... This is 3rd stop, which means he's not quite 20 minutes. He needs to... Hang on, 9 laps? I don't know. I feel like I'm thinking too hard here. Hang on, 9 laps, 18 minutes. Yeah, 18 minute stints gets you there. I think he has to do an 8 somewhere because he's behind schedule. He should be in already. I think he's 2 minutes down because of all the spins and damage and things. So someone get on the phone to the THG boys and let him know the strategy needs to update, because 18 minute stints looked like it was the plan, where you end up finishing with 90, but he's got a lap in hand at this moment in time on that strategy because he is a minute 30 off the lead with a couple of spins and some damage really costing him time. So he should have come in on the 54 minute mark, and it's now 56:10. So yeah, he's just got a bit hung up on the numbers rather than thinking about the strategy as a living, breathing, moving target, because it is. As we see Guesty in from 3rd place, he will rejoin in 4th, also on that same 9 lap strategy, and he too will have to cut a lap out somewhere. Most likely at the end, but if it ends up being 2 laps, you'll be disappointed because you know you could have saved one when you had damage earlier. So now I'm continuing on his mediums, doing 2 minute 00s. His pace has improved as he's got used to these medium tyres, and he's looking to try and take 3rd away from Guesty. They're about the same on pace, but Sodan potentially buying himself a pit stop. As we see, RS Binko still continuing with that damage. His strategy will see him in... looked like he pitted on lap 18, so he should have been in this lap, but he must have filled the thing and he's going to keep going till he runs out of tyres, because he has decided that he can almost get to the 1 hour point, which means he can do it on 1 less pit stop potentially. He's only half an hour away, but Trailbike Racing with damage themselves. They both got front splitter damage, trying to catch and pass the Virtual Racing Club motorsport car of RS Binko. Trailbike Racing out of the pits in their incredible 12 lap stint strategy. A few laps ago, he is 20 seconds ahead of Stocilla Racing Team with no damage, who should be catching them hand over fist, very recently out of the pits himself, and should be able to catch right up to the back of the Trailbike Racing car when they both pit next time around. He should be much faster without that damage. Maybe Trailbike Racing seeing the understeer from the front splitter damage being beneficial to them, making the car less unstable. The wind's moved around even further now. It's now a southwesterly as opposed to a west-southwesterly. It's making a bid for tailwind down Conrod Straight, and I think the drivers will like that. Oh, doesn't quite get there, has to lift out. Binko doesn't really block him. Up the inside for the Trailbike Racing, and Binko goes wide and is able to let the Trailbike Racing car through. He stays out for 1 more lap, despite the worn tyres, despite the pace drop. So good pass from Trailbreak. He had to wait in the middle of the chase. He didn't do anything crazy to force it up the inside or force it around the outside and find himself in a collision. So smart racing, and then was able to outbrake his opponent on his brand new tyres by comparison to the very old and worn tyres that RS Binko has. But as you can see, the Stocilla Racing Team 4 seconds closer. It was 20 seconds to Trailbike Racing, and now it's 16 to RS Binko for the Virtual Racing Club. Well, I guess it's 17 to Trailbreak, so he's made up 3 seconds since we last checked in on those numbers. The overtake obviously cost them time, but we'll expect him to arrive at some point soon, as out of nowhere Joker has caught up to the Stocilla Racing team. Second fastest in qualifying. His teammate won the Stint 1. That car is prepared well, but unfortunately for Joker it's just proved a little too unstable on the rear, and it's cost him with a few mistakes. A couple of locked rear brakes putting him directly into the wall. Oh, the Stocilla car using all the road there. Lovely work. It's 4/10 as we come into the downhill. This is where Joker has had problems. It's where the bloke behind him, DHG TSO40, has had problems. So hopefully he can keep it safe. Does so. Gap still at 4/10, but it only matters once you leave Forest's elbow. Oh, bit of a slide from Stocilla. And the gap is now 3/10. Joker straight in on the slipstream, hooks in. He knows he's going to have to try and make this pass nice and clean. Stocilla goes all the way to the right. They know they're getting overtaken here. It's side by side down Conrod Straight. Joker doesn't really have the straight line advantage. It's side by side. They're caping the same speed. Oh, but Stocilla just eases out on the apex there. Lets Joker through. That's good, clever racing. But I would have loved to have seen him fight back and hold off Joker, because those two are racing for position as Binko makes it to the pits. Yes, Joker is faster, but I think that when you're racing for position like that, it kind of matters. You got to take a hold of it, because Joker has made mistakes. And you hope to try and force him into more mistakes. But I guess Stocilla not worried about that. They just want to look after their own race relative to the guys they think they are racing. Potentially trying to beat TSO40, to beat Binko, to beat SMM Shadow. We check back in on the Trailbreak racing car. They're now only 13 seconds away from Joker. Guesty is 23 seconds away. So just having a think there. So something's going on here. Stocilla just lost a bunch of time. They've gone from right behind Joker to only 3 seconds behind, and TSO40 was 5 seconds down. Now it's only 2. He's suddenly catching hand over fist. I think there's been a mistake from the Stocilla car, probably up in the cutting. Just probably didn't get it turned, lost a bit of ground, had to try and avoid hitting the wall, and that will cost him time. As TSO40 gets it down under 2 seconds, and it goes straight back over 2 seconds, the second I say that. And we can see Joker catching Trailbreak Racing. It's now down to 11 seconds. From Stocilla to Trailbreak, it was 20 a couple of laps ago, and it's now 15 or so between them. But with Joker, it's already down to 11. Joker is fighting back here for 5th place. He will have to stop before the Trailbreak Racing car. But if he can catch him and go past him at this rate, doing these 2-minute zeros, while his opponent is doing 203s and 204s with that front splitter damage, although he's going to do a 2-3. So it's legitimately on here for the AequepaX racing car. The second AequepaX racing car, the first of which is in second with Fred Dude, 42 seconds off the lead, but 22 seconds clear of THG Sonam in 3rd place, who looks like he's going to be in on this lap. I'm not sure how long his stints are. I don't know if they're half an hour, but it's going to be tight if he's going to get to the end on one medium stint from here. If he can eke out another lap, he might have to push himself to only 24 minutes away, rather than a full 26 minutes, which is 13 laps, I'd say. And I don't know if he's got the fuel range to do 13, but he did pit early and has been on mediums ever since. So maybe he can do it. Maybe he is right on the cusp of being able to do 13 laps. Could be stuck on 12, but it looks like he's coming in. Yeah, at the end of the 31st lap. So he might have to do some fuel saving. Good attacking entry there. But we go back on board with Joker, who is now pulling away from the Stocilla Racing team, who's being caught by TSO40 of the second Humble Guys Racing Team car. 44 is the leading car up in 3rd place. But we'll keep an eye on Joker here, because this is about to heat up as he catches the Trailbreak Racing team. Sonam loses the position to Guesty. Guesty is now back in third for the Virtual Racing Club. As Sonam exits the pits, if I could speak. And he is 6 seconds down, but he is hoping that there are no more pit stops for him. THG boys have to let me know if there are more stops to come for that strategy, or if Sonam is not one to talk on the radio. Just likes to focus in on the race and nothing else. Wants nobody in his ear talking incessantly. Potentially watching a stream, potentially not watching stream. Depends. Some people are different. I hate listening to the stream because when commentators start talking to me, I start arguing with them. Because you only ever know everything from within the seat. No, you're always guessing as a commentator as to what's happening, what the strategy is, what the plan is, what the drivers are thinking. And it's just that, guessing. As you see, the wind is now down to 1.9 meters per second, which is a useless unit, as I believe that's something in the region of 7 kilometers an hour, which is an easier conversion to, say, 4 miles an hour. But for whatever reason, wind spins are measured in meters per second and feet per second, because I guess that makes sense to aviation people. Fred also in for his scheduled pit stop. He will have one more after this. Same as Caliber, they have 24 minutes to do 2 stints, which are 12 minutes per stint, 6 lap stints. And away we go. It'll put him... Oh, and he's ended up... Jeez, that's so rude for Sidemax. They've ended up behind Fred, and because Fred has to stop to avoid going over the white line, the Sidemax car has run into the back of him and been given a 3-second penalty. That is so dumb, being penalised like that for a mistake that's not even your fault. Your AI driver has driven into the back of someone and given you a penalty. Wow. Did I see 2 cars near each other? It's TSO40 on the back of the Stocilla Racing team with STS Nibbles. And they are racing... Yeah, that's on strategy too. So this is a legitimate fight for 7th place. TSO40 looking to try and get ahead of the Stocilla Racing team car and make his way up towards the Trailbreak Racing car that Joker is now fighting with. Up ahead, there's only 5 seconds between those two groups, and 2 seconds between Joker and the Trailbreak Racing. Jose suggesting that TSO40's strategy is becoming very Italian, very Ferrari, and, well, maybe. I suspect he's okay, though. He's got a few laps worth of fuel left to then put it in for the final stint. Only needs to get within 18 minutes of the finish, and then he can pit and do a 9-lap stint. Oh, looked like he was going for a dive, but Stocilla runs wide. They're side by side out of the cutting. Now, this is going to be very sketchy. Up over the top of Reed Park. Never go too wide here. TSO40 pulls through and in front, and Stocilla dropped to 8th place. That was very, very committed from TSO40. Going too wide there is a death sentence. The guy on the inside can try all he wants to try and make it easy for you. But with the dirty marbles, the off the line, making it very challenging. It's a tough corner to predict, to turn in late. You have to lose so much speed to do it. And it's just tough. So very well done between those two drivers to make it happen. As we see Joker now 1.7 seconds behind Trailbreak Racing car. I feel like Joker pitted from right on top of the Trailbreak Racing car and has worked his way back in to the Trailbreak Racing car team on this stint alone with just raw pace as he takes 2 and 3 seconds a lap out of his opponent here. So you'd say that, excuse me, Joker will do one more stop if he does 2 laps here. He'll just sneak it in on one more stop. The Trailbreak Racing car will do one more stop. TSO40 will do one more stop. Nibbles will probably just do it on one more stop. And Binko, recently pitted, will do it on one more stop as well. Unfortunately for him, he was running really strongly earlier, running top 6, even as high as 4th, but unfortunately down in 9th with a couple of mistakes, a couple of bits of damage, running around many seconds off pace with that damage because it's quicker than taking a pit stop, unfortunately. We see Caliber, 51 seconds up. Just as he does, he set a 51.3 on the previous lap. Still unable to beat the fastest lap of the first stint, but maybe not pushing as hard just yet. Maybe he'll wait to the last lap to have a crack when he's got himself the best tyres and the lowest fuel with only 10-minute stint available to him. And we see Guesty for the Virtual Racing Club is in 3rd, and the gap between himself and Sonam is out to 10 seconds, so he's pulled away by about 5 seconds in this stint, but he owes us a pit stop. Will Sonam be able to get to the end of the race on no more pit stops? Only he will know if he can do that. And that 2:03.7 suggests that he is saving fuel to do it. Maybe he only needed to save half a lap of fuel, but he's going to have a try because he has got over 3/4 of a tank of fuel left. And Joker has binned it. Oh, I was so looking forward to seeing him fighting for... Oh, it's so disappointing. In the fight for 5th place. But now that's a 5-second gap between TSO40 and the Trailbreak Racing car. Joker has made a mistake and has fallen back to 8th place, and he's going to have to pit this lap or the next, meaning he has to do 9 laps on this last stint if he wants to get there. If he boxes this lap, I think he can do 9 laps. He's just got to be very sensible and careful about it. It was a fantastic stint of lots of 2-minute 0-0s and only a couple of 201s just at the end there as the tyre wear kicked in. But the tyre wear has brought him unstuck as in he comes, as is the Stossila Racing Team car. They've got similar fuel levels, but Joker, with that damage, will end up further behind the Stossila Racing Team car. So, unfortunately for them, they are currently 8th in real terms. And that's what I was saying before with Nibbles just letting Joker through. You have to try and force him into a mistake. And he's done it by himself, so they're very lucky. But now that is a straight fight for 7th place between those two. It's 8th place now with Binko going through. Binko still owes us a stop. So it will be a straight fight for those two, with Joker having to catch up on the Stossila Racing Team car. He's got 7.5 seconds to make up over the next 18 minutes of the next 9 laps. So it's going to have to be about a second a lap if he wants to get there, but I think he can do it. It's up to Stossila to now put down nice, clean, consistent runs. He's got way too much fuel, being very conservative to make sure he got there. Now we see TSO40 about to get lapped by SBM Caliber, and both these cars owe us one more pit stop, so that's legitimate. The leaders will have lapped everyone up to 6th place. And potentially 5th, because they are not far behind. And Adam, TSO40 there, locking the rears, going dead straight into Forest Elbow. Not a defensive move, he just had no control of the car. It was locked up the whole way down the hill. He lifts off, lets his opponent through, but it cost him 2 seconds to do it. He was 2 seconds behind the Trailbreak Racing car, now it's 4. Oh, good move there from Guesty. He has a little bit extra fuel, but he brings it in now to give himself a nice 8.5 lap stint to the end. Smart bringing it in early. TSO40 will want to do another lap here or not. No, he's bringing it in. He's got fuel to spare. He's decided this is the short stint. And with the pit stop, he will only have to do 16 more minutes, which is 8 laps, hoping for a big undercut on the Trailbreak Racing car ahead. The gap was 4.9 seconds. It is up to TSO40 to come out of the pits in a big hurry. He can only hope that the leader in SBM Caliber lapping the Trailbreak Racing car costs him time as well in order to try and steal the position from under their nose. They probably could have been in a lap ago on this strategy. There are only 16 minutes left, only 8 laps if you're starting a lap right now left in this race. So Trailbreak Racing doing crazy long stints of 12 laps to bring it down to a 3-stop race, which is very impressive. But I don't think it was optimized. I don't think they had to go all the way out to 12, because it looks like there is only going to be a 42-ish lap race, meaning you need to do 10-10, 11-11, instead of doing 12-12 and then 6. But we'll see. It could be that they've done it this way because they want to take a really short refueling time, but the leader is on them. Caliber is right on top of them, and he jumps out of the way, brakes before Forest Elbow, gets past, and is not really too inconvenienced, whereas TSO40 last time out had a big mistake and then had to lose a lot of time to let himself be passed because he disrupted Caliber's run, whereas Caliber straight through and away he goes. TSO40, I don't know if he'll get there, but he's going to have to go very fast if he wants to. He is just in front of the Stocilla Racing Team car. So that fight not over, but it's still a straight fight with Joker now 6 seconds down. So Joker, Stocilla and TSO40 all within touching distance, and they will be within touching distance of the Trailbreak Racing Team car, who is now into the pits for the final time, hopefully, unless he gets horrible damage, which I hope no one does, because we're getting to the really delicious part of this race. As we can see, Guesty has pitted for the final time in the Virtual Racing Club car. He's fourth right now and chasing Sonam. Now, Sonam looking to extend his fuel all the way to the finish. He is going to try and not stop. Guesty does not need to stop. Guesty has to go flat out to catch him, to try and run him down on the tyres, because he's gotten brand new softs versus the mediums. And they're fixing the damage. They're fixing the damage here at the Trailbreak Racing Team. That car is going to be so much faster out the other side. Oh no, TSO40's fallen behind Nibbles, which means he's made a mistake and he's got damage. Yep, he's lost it on the downhill once again. Move the brake bias forward, man. And that's cost him. That was legitimately the position gone. They are 5 seconds down on Trailbreak Racing, who will absolutely take the position of RS Binko ahead of him when he pits for the final time. He probably should do it now or sooner rather than later, and will be sort of in the hunt there with the guys 9th through 6th. So, Trailbreak Racing, 5 seconds ahead of Stocilla Racing Team, 1 second ahead of the now damaged TSO40, who is 2.8 seconds ahead of AXR Joker, the second quickest guy on track. He's got a 2 minute 0.1, which I think is faster than... Well, I think Fred's in the 59, so it's the third fastest guy, but the second fastest qualifier. So the races at play are Sonam versus Guesty in the fuel battle. We've got... Is that a mistake? That's a mistake! He's been in the wall! Trailbreak Racing has been in the wall. He's lost 2 seconds, 3 seconds. He is now 4 seconds away from the Stocilla Racing Team car, who is not pulling away from the now damaged THG TSO40, who is getting... Oh, geez, that looked like a wall for Stocilla. So it looks like TSO40 only losing in a straight line, but he's keeping pace over the top. He's made this job so much harder for him, and after finally clearing the damage for the Trailbreak Racing car, he's gone into the wall on the downhill. And I must say, I reckon that was the aero balance change. He had less front downforce with that damage, and now that he has the front grip, it's rotated him under brakes on the downhill, and he's gone into the fence. And with heavy damage, that is punishing. And Binko is in for his final pit stop. He's got damage, and I think it's the right time to bring it in with 12 minutes left. It's about 6 laps. So this race is, well, it's suddenly entirely back up in the air. Will Sonam get there on fuel? Will Guesty catch you on pace? Will the Trailbreak Racing Team hold on? Can Stocilla close the gap? Can TSO40 stay with Stocilla? Can he pass Stocilla? Can he actually also catch the Trailbreak Racing car? And Joker, I'll say it, the Joker in the pack here, the very back of this queue, but the fastest. He's catching TSO40, who's catching Stocilla, who's catching Trailbreak Racing. We've got 4 into 1 here with 11 minutes and 15 seconds remaining at the Bathurst 3 hour for the for the AequepaX Racing GT World Endurance Championship. As I'm very impressed with the Virtual Racing Club and their effort from Guesty here today to be in 4th place. Oh, for a brief second there, Fred was behind. Sonam's got him! Sonam takes 2nd place right now. Well, this was not on the cards at all. The extra pit stop Sonam is cut out of this race has suddenly paid him off. Fred Dude is going to have to make an overtake in the AequepaX Racing car if he wants 2nd place. Sonam once again finds himself running a attacking sprint in the final stint. He has got 10.5 minutes to hold off Fred, and Fred has 10.5 minutes to attack him. As we see Trailbreak Racing now 1.6 seconds ahead of Storsilla, who is 1.7 seconds ahead of TSO40, who is 2 seconds ahead of the AXR Joker. Oh, Binko's made a mistake. Oh no, that's a penalty. That's a penalty. I saw a slow-moving car and it got me concerned. All right, we're going with the leaders here because this is the closest fight. Neither of them have damage, but Fred is on brand new soft tyres. Sonam is on used mediums, so Fred should have the advantage. We saw at the very, very start of this race, Fred was able to pick the slipstream up and pass Sonam. But right now he didn't get the exit, which means he's not in the slipstream at this moment in time. He is, however, faster down the straight, so he will catch, and whether or not he gets slipstream, I don't know. We'll find out. He's into the slipstream, and he's gaining. He's gaining huge amounts of time. It's 3/10 already. So this battle looking to kick off. Just have a quick look as Joker closes in. Joker's pulled the pin. He's off. We're away. Look like a penalty. No, anyway, so Sonam and Fred, it's 5/10 for second place. Sonam looking to steal second place from under Fred's nose. Fred didn't see him coming, wasn't prepared. Or he did see him coming and knew, he wasn't worried. Either way, he's currently within slipstream distance. It's 7/10 coming out of turn 1, Hell Corner. Gets a good exit, and now with the slipstream and the Toyota Supra's superior straight line speed, he will get very close to launching a move up into turn 2. It's up to Sonam. Does he need to cover? Does he stick to the racing line and just maximize performance? He's not close enough to attack, so Sonam stays the racing line, hooks up his turn 2 apex, big throttle out the other side, the gap out to 6/10 now. He has to pull away in these high aero sections where Fred Dude is being affected by dirty air so that he can stay just out of reach down Conrod Straight where Fred has the absolute advantage. Checking in here, Trebek Racing 1 second ahead of Storsilla, who is now 1.9 ahead of TSO40, who is now only 2/10 ahead of Joker. Joker and TSO40 have been much quicker, but they've been befooled by so many issues getting down the mountain. Those two look like they will resolve. As we can see, Sonam and Fred are nose to tail over the top of the hill on the mini-map. Keeping an eye in, I will swap back once we get to the elbow. But first of all, can Joker get past TSO40? We're both coming through the slow-speed corners. They're going to both be trying to make passes. Fred is 7.5 He's outside slipstream. He's now back in slipstream. It's sort of bouncing around on the gear changes. I don't know if he'll get there. Is Joker going to get TSO40? Side by side. Joker gets him. Fred doesn't get into the slipstream. He looked just too far back on the mini-map, but it's 2/10. Sonam hanging on. That's 1 lap down. There are 9 minutes remaining. He will have to hold on for 5 more laps from here as they are going too fast to make it 4. So, in their fights, we've got the Trailbreak Racing team car. 5/10 ahead of Storsilla. They are now within slipstream range, but they're also within dirty air range. It's up to 1 second, and that's what happens with dirty air. You miss a line, have to panic out, not crash, as Joker also arrives on the scene. Everyone split by 1 second here at the front, between 5th and 8th. And we can see Fred unable to get back within touching distance of Sonam. Every lap that goes by, Fred's tyre advantage decreases as his softs will degrade faster than Sonam's mediums. We're seeing here that track position is very, very strong. Storsilla getting into the slipstream. He's not close enough though. It will be 4/10 when he gets down into the chase, but he hasn't got there. He will have to make a run up the hill. Down to 2/10 though, he might be able to just sneak by into the final corner with a bit of a risky dive. But Trebek Racing holds the middle of the road, defending. And that's probably the wrong choice, but Storsilla goes deep. Joker's arrived. Where is he? He's 2/10 now. Joker might have a crack at the Storsilla car. And TSO40 down to a second and a half off the lead. I'd say he has lost his chance to win this fight unless all 3 of these guys end up in a pile. But at the front, Fred is within slipstream distance. It's not enough. Sonam is not going to hold on here. Fred, once again, will pull out, make the overtake on the straight bit before the corner, and there's nothing Sonam can do. He fought hard to try and hold up Fred, but it wasn't enough. Whether or not he can launch a counterattack, I don't know, but I don't think so now that Fred's got the clean air. Sonam in the dirty air, though, fighting back as hard as he can on those mediums. Will he launch a dive? Will Fred cover? No, it doesn't look like it. Well, Fred sort of turned in early, leaving Sonam close. We'll have a quick look back in over the top. No one's made any moves. Oh, Sonam right on the boot of Fred, dude. We saw him do that in the first stint and was unable to really make any gains, but he sits in the slipstream as they climb the hill. Fred covering the inside. He's got nowhere else he wants to be. It's a personal best up the hill with the slipstream, but Sonam unable to make the pass, but he's run wide now, and that'll be it. Now it's over, Jose. He always had to be careful, because if you're on the outside there, the road isn't as cambered. You can't go too wide there and keep up, because you don't have nearly as much rotational grip, because the camber of the road falls away on the apex, which actually lets you hook in like a NASCAR turn, and the higher up you are, the less of that you get. You end up in trouble trying to brake at the same point. But we saw something happened there, sorry, I was too busy talking, as the TrueBait Racing Team car is passed by Stosilla, but AXR Joker is now 2 seconds back. He's made a mistake and got damage, and that means they've got actually opposing damage. Both got front, but one left, one right. So TSO40 is now fighting Joker, both of them damaged, both of them knowing 2 laps remain with 4 minutes left in this race to try and decide this. So it looks like Stosilla's going to get trail break. Trail break might hang on when it looked like TSO40 and AXR Joker were going to get them. So all 3 of them are damaged with front aero and a front corner, and Stosilla takes 5th place. Guesty for VRC. Comfy now in 4th place. Looks like he's not going to catch Sonam unless Sonam runs out of fuel. He looks like he's got fuel for 2 laps, though. It's about 18 litres by the look of things. So unless he has to start saving fuel and hasn't realised, it looks like it'll be 3rd place for THG Sonam and 4th place for VRC Guesty, who has done the impossible. He stayed clean and just kept out of damage, kept out of trouble. He's done a great job at the front of this field. Still not really pulling away here, but Joker down to 1.2 seconds. So he's going to have to try and adapt very quickly and attack. At this point in time, it may as well go for it, because losing the spot to THG in 8th place, not really going to hurt compared to overtaking and stealing 6th place. I agree, Jonathan Knowles. It has been a great race from Guesty, keeping it out of any trouble, keeping it clean. Oh, this is not what the boys behind wanted, as Trailbreak Racing getting slipstream from Stosilla. That's going to be worth huge amounts of lap time. They were hoping to gain on the straights, because the Trailbreak Racing car has been a bit weak on the straights with that damage, and he looks like he's got fuel left for 1 more lap. I think everyone here will do 1 more lap, and everyone ahead will have to do an extra lap. So these are the guys starting their final lap. It's Stosilla Racing Team. STS Nibbles will cross the line with 1 minute and 50 seconds to go. He starts his last lap as he puts down a 2:01.1 to try and escape to lock down 5th place. Trailbreak Racing for Jay Lee now starts his final lap. He's got 1.4 seconds in hand, so 1.8 seconds in hand over AXR Joker, who's made a mistake on that last corner, and lets TSO40 back in. They've all got enough fuel. The Trailbreak Racing car the lowest on fuel, but they've all got enough. Yeah, looking good. Fred now pulled away very safely from Sonam. He has 1 lap to go as well. Fred about to start his last lap. Caliber on not his last lap. He will be able to steal an extra lap on the field, just as in Stint 1, giving him freedom to do donuts, to celebrate however he fancies, with a lap all by himself. Yeah, himself and Shadow are going to be on the last lap by themselves. They will get an extra lap in. And it looks like Joker is pulled away from TSO40 once again, but he has not got close enough to the Trailbreak Racing car. No one risking particularly aggressively. Oh, but he just made up 2/10 there. He's made up heaps of ground. It looks close to the 1.1 seconds, but it's not, unfortunately, for AXR. It's 1.2 now. Has to get a good exit. Needs the opponent. No, it's not good enough. Trailbreak Racing getting out of the corner with a clean exit. And they will have to rely on a mistake into the chase or into the final quarter to resolve this one. Joker with a higher top speed, it looks like, but gaining only a few tenths, not gaining the necessary 1.3 seconds to make an attack. So unfortunately for them, not going to be enough. But however, it is fortunate enough for the Stocilla Racing team getting the job done here, taking themselves back into 5th place. Not the best qualifying, not the best pace, but kept it clean, and they finish 5th for this stint 2 of the Bathurst 3 hours at 1 hour 90 and 15 seconds. Trailbreak Racing, congratulations for 6th place, holding on despite damage and chaos. They've done well, the Trailbreak Racers. AXR Joker, 7th, unable to capitalise on his incredible qualifying pace, an incredible race pace. Unfortunately, unstable car, instability causing him to make mistakes. Same as THG TSO40, quick car, but not easy to control. He finishes 8th as the Virtual Racing Club Motorsport, VRC Motorsport car of RS Binko. His internet may not be good, but he is a soldier. He has fought through all of the issues and brought it home. His bad back, his bad internet, but it's a good result, finishing 9th. And now we see Fred Dude. Fred Dude has finished. The game just didn't update. Missed him, sorry. And Sonam finishes in 3rd. Here is Guesty for the Virtual Racing Club Racing Team. So VRC Racing Team. He's going to finish 4th. He's done what only Caliber has done. He has stayed clean, made no mistakes, and he celebrates with a wee, flashing the lights. 100% deserved. Well done, mate. That's a great effort. However, we now come to see SBM Caliber, the absolute machine, perfectly out of fuel. What a drive. He gets the extra lap. He gets a 45th lap compared to everyone else. That is fantastic. And now we see the last car. SMM Shadow for Sober Motorsport, Sideworks Motorsport. A chat saying that was a great final stint from Nibbles, and it absolutely was. Here's Shadow now enjoying the final lap to himself on lap 42 here. He's decided he's going to take a shortcut, which is actually going to be a long cut because he will get warped. No, it doesn't get warped. There's the warp. The game punishing him as he goes straight to 6th gear, coasting down the hill to finish out the race. It's all on Shadow. He's brought it to the end. He got there. Others didn't. And congratulations to them for finishing here in what looks to be 10th place before any stewards' inquiries, before any penalties. We don't know yet. But it's a nice, relaxing, casual finish for SMM Shadow to conclude the Bathurst 3 hours. This was stint 2 of the AequepaX Racing World Endurance Championship. Well done to all. As we now wait on the timer. So your podium, SBM Caliber 50 with SBM featuring SOE. Fred Dude for AequepaX Racing. THG Sonam 82464 for the Humble Guys Racing Team. Guesty for the Virtual Racing Club Motorsport. Adam says he is frankly disgusted with himself. That's TSO40 and the mistakes he made today. He knows he should have done better. And on the back of his teammate finishing 3rd, there will be some answering to do at Team THG. But your winner with pole position and fastest lap, but it's not showing fastest lap, was SBM Caliber 50. Well done once again for winning. It's his 3rd race stint win from 3 rounds in this championship. The next round is, of course, in November. So the next round of the championship will be November 19th from Tokyo Expressway South for the 4-hour race. The next race after that will be in December, so we get a 3-week break for the next round in Tokyo. And Oh, sorry, someone just saying great racing in the chat. Sorry, trying to read and talk, and it's very hard to do both. Otherwise, you start reading or saying what you're reading. Anyway. So, right, all drivers, save your replays. Any stewards' inquiries will have to be dealt with after the race. So, results are all entirely provisional. But from what we saw, it was SBM caliber from Fred Dude, from Sonam. And congratulations to the top three. Congratulations to Guesty for a great drive. Congratulations to Stossilla for pulling through a great second half to steal 5th place. Very impressed with that one. Very impressed by Trailbreak Racing in order to hold on to 6th place despite having damage for most of that race. They stuck it out and kept going. As for the championship, well, we'll have to wait for Groot to finalise results and then update the points. But it is safe to say that SBM Caliber, with SBM featuring SOE, with his teammate SOE Kevin, will continue to lead the championship after yet another race win. Even though Kevin didn't have the best race in Stint 1, I'm pretty sure with the win here in Stint 2, they will still be leading the championship. But it should be a bigger gap over the full throttle guys, and maybe someone else will sneak into second place. Potentially one of the AEquepaX racing cars, because they had a strong weekend with 2 second places in one of their cars. And even though Joker didn't really capitalise off the win, they will have made ground on the people around them. Although Stossilla going 4th and 5th might be hard to beat them. So we'll have to wait and see. But thank you all for joining me for the thrilling conclusion to the second stint of the Bathurst 3 hours. Once again, big thank you to the AEquepaX racing team for hosting this series, AXR Group, good old Rob, for putting this all together and getting everyone some really enjoyable endurance racing. Can't wait for him to restart those big, long 24-hour races. But for now, this will absolutely suffice as we get good quality endurance racing. We saw today the spirit of endurance racing continuing despite struggles, but also the need to keep it clean and consistent, paying off. And any format that rewards clean and consistent racing is absolutely endurance racing. So thank you very much to them. Thank you much to Thingamajig for doing the commentary in the first stint. I will not be here for the next round, but we will have Jerry Bear, I believe, replacing me with Thingamajig. And, well, I hope you can all look forward to that on November 19th. Thank you all for coming. And, well, good night to Europe. Good morning to Australia. Good day to everyone else. Good afternoon, good evening, or good night, to steal the phrase. We will see you next time for the AEquepaX Racing World Endurance Championship. I'll see you next time.